Tonight's show, we're talking about Libra season, and we welcome back Tarot Master Chris Reck as we answer all your questions with tag team readings coming up right now.
Does it look like a Devin or David?
David is his name. It's been so spot on.
And I don't know if you put it in the side of your end table or not. You like to summon your end table that you this too.
My God, you're crazy, girl.
Yeah, he's saying hi, baby girl. He's saying hi, baby girl. And is there significance with like image of a rose at all?
Dude,
Does that make sense?
give me a rose.
Okay, so he's like doing one now. He's saying to work with some sort of like vibrational machine. Somehow a way to work with like machinery and vibration.
I work with horses, and there's actually some magnawave therapy that's vibrational.
Tell me something that he told you that came true.
Thing he's predicted has come true.
I just don't see it.
Oh, he doesn't have cancer?
It's very possible.
Allow yourself to hear yourself. Allow yourself to feel yourself. Allow yourself to talk to yourself. Allow yourself to respond to yourself. That's looking within.
You might encounter negative aspects of self, but that's a freeing experience.
Because then they start realizing that they can't think outside the box. And I said, if you can't think outside the box, then who's the stupid one here?
There's a reason why we're on this timeline. There's a reason why we've chosen to be in this awakening. I say we're going through a spiritual awakening.
So I don't just come on here and talk bull, repeat. I'm living this stuff.
In harmony with nature, in a mystical adventure, we're building on the culture.
Happy Thursday night, everybody. Welcome to the Cruisyverse. How was your week? How's everything going? We're now in Libra season. Y'all feeling that heaviness? Y'all feeling that restructuring, that rebalance of energy? Because boy, I know I have been very, very tired. Same thing with Chris. We almost, decided, hey, maybe we'll fall asleep and cancel the show, but we didn't. We're here, and we're actually serving you all today. But I've actually been very heavy. It's been very, very kind of, tiring, but, in a way of kind of like helping me to rebalance out a lot of things this week too, as we're in Virgo season. So as we said this morning on Leading Out Loud, I said it was kind of like a spiritual detox. So you guys have tried going through the spiritual detox too. As I saw, a lot of people were in the hospital last week. A lot of people were getting sick, injured, all these things. So it's always universe's way of saying to slow down, take your time. And especially me, to slow down. Sometimes I talk too fast. I'm like, slow down to talk too. And so let's see who's chatting in the room here. Again, we have Noel Way. Good to see you, my love. Welcome aboard. Haven't seen you in a while. My maker, Jennifer Cruz, is in the room. Joanne Redenor. She says, so happy to be here. These two guys are the real deal. To have them both in the same place at the same time, that's a lot of psychic power. That's true, Joanne. It's very true. It's sometimes we might even have some electrical currents and glitches like we did last week happen. So it's very true. Brennan Zawek, good to see you. A wonderful mod, Nina, is in the room. So you guys have any questions about, booking questions for Chris and I, it's $30 for one question, $40 for two questions, and $50 for a live video. The Venmo and PayPal links are in the description. Please understand, for live video can only be Venmo only because I need to respond to your transaction with the link to call in. I cannot do that on PayPal. So make sure you guys are very clear about that. Kate, good to see you. Lisa Cruz, Usagi Dango, great news, or great name. Good news for the great name. Hello, Chris and Scott. Had to pay through PayPal. The other app won't let me log in. Okay, well, hopefully it was not a video session as I just stated, so we can get you on board. Samantha R, my favorite Tuesday night crew. Awesome. Tara Chatterton, good to you. Sally, Iggy, can't you see? Good to see you. Abergeddon, great name too. Christy Rossi, Daryl Blankenship, Christina Carter, Allie Taylor. It goes on and on and on. All you guys, welcome aboard. Anthony Mino, good to see you as well. And Chris Struckerland, good to see you. And everybody else who's watching, who's not chatting in the room, it's going to keep it very simple. Welcome aboard. Those who don't know my lives or are new to my lives, I always start with a collective read and kind of see what's the forecast of the week. We'll have a wonderful message from Nina. Then we'll take a break and we'll have Chris Reck come on and we'll talk about Libra season and we'll do our tag team readings then. So let's not waste any time. Let's get into this collective read and see what's going on for the week. All right, let's shuffle these cards. And let me shut these stupid notifications off because they don't just stop and stop, right? Apple has to do every device, not one, every device has got to go off. Okay. Let's see for the week. And even though Chris is the tarot master, I utilize tarot for collective purposes like this. As a psychic medium, I don't necessarily use tarot, but it's a wonderful tool to guide me in collective reads of this nature. So we'll see what your reads are. And I think this week too is I would say it's a really good week of kind of, I don't want to sound cliche and say letting go, because, you know, we always say letting go. It's like, well, what are we letting go of, right? So we need to understand what we are letting go of. And I think a lot of this letting go of this week is really about moving forward and letting go of the older paradigm of thinking, but also the older structures that we've been, you know, a privy to in our past, you know, situations. So, you know, I think letting go is like really kind of be more definitive of, you know, more about latching on and holding on and grabbing on to the new, because a lot of times we can let go of something. It's like, but what are we doing next? And so we stay in this stuck energy, this kind of void energy. But we also have to understand when we let go, what we're grabbing onto, what is a new paradigm we're grabbing onto. And so this is very interesting here, the cards as well, because I kind of was feeling this before for this week. A lot of you guys might be relocating this month, I'd say, or a lot of guys might have, you know, ideas of moving or ideas of even taking a trip. A lot of movement when it comes to travel. So if those of you guys have been taking trips or wanting to take a trip, it's a good time to start planning for that. I understand a lot of people feeling urges to move and to relocate and find a new home. This is a great time to do that right now and to consider. Not so much doing it this month, but like looking ahead. If you've been feeling those impulses, start planning it for the following year. Because this week primarily is all about restructuring, movement, and also about connection with community. Now, the one thing I kept hearing before the show is more about like encouragement. And a lot of times everybody's waiting on encouragement from other people in order to start their project or to get what they want going and pushing it out in the air. But they don't realize that the encouragement for others may not ever come. And so we cannot let our goals and our passions be contingent on whether or not someone else is encouraging us or even validating us or not. It is up to us to find a community of people that are very much in aligned to our similar energy so we can get inspiration. But at the end of the day, it's our own encouragement that's going to push us forward. If you think of the thought leaders and those who are, you know, have groundbreaking ideas and lives, do you think they're sitting by waiting around for people to validate them or to encourage them to push them forward? Not necessarily. They're just in their own heads. They have their own excitement, their own passion. They're finding that godlike power within to create, to express. This is the energy we should be relying upon, because there's a lot of people in this situation, you know, at least in this week and a couple weeks ahead and even weeks previous too, I've been seeing, having a lot of great ideas, great projects that are coming to light and to consciousness. However, they don't really have the encouragement to push them forward. And, you know, if you're waiting for that encouragement to come, it may never come. You might just never get your dream fulfilled. And then you'll look back and, you know, after not doing for many years and kind of regret the fact that you never started it for yourself. So let's not have regret in the future. Let's actually allow our own encouragement, our own passion, our own joys and excitement be enough for us to tackle the new project, the new passion, new expression. That should be enough, because once you're reveled and you're saturated in that essence of passion, then people start kind of latching on and supporting you and wanting to gravitate toward you, because you're living in that vibrant energy. So this is the week to start, you know, creating your own encouragement, your own push, you know, being your own coach. I always say the best way you get to find more about yourself is to talk to yourself, is to listen to yourself, to feel yourself, to, you know, hear yourself, right? And so those are the only ways you can really process what's going on in this head of yours and this noggin of yours, because that is the only thing that's really preventing you from getting to where you want to be. The fact if you need validation from others or that encouragement from others, your mind is the one that's dictating whether or not you need that or not. Because at the end of the day, if someone's going to encourage you, you're still in your mind saying, okay, I will validate that encouragement, so I will move on from that. You don't need the middleman. You don't need to have someone else's encouragement be the validation for you to move forward. So again, remove the middleman. Let's get yourself to be the only source of strength and power and focus moving forward. Because you guys have the ability to create what's around you. And I know it sounds very cliche about creating your own reality, but it is true. I know a lot of people, a lot of you all in the room have experienced a portion in your life or in your past to where you thought about something, you pushed something forward, and it happened for you, worked in your favor. We all have experiences of that. We need to remind ourselves, you know, when I was actually really focused in something, I had a passion for it, I was excited about it, or I was interested in it, it just kind of happened. And I'm saying that's the flow we're talking about. When there's no opposition, you're just in a consistent energy of excitement. And I don't want excitement to be interpreted as it means you're jumping up for joy, doing doing naked cartwheels and naked trust falls and that type of excitement. Excitement means you're focused on something. You're engaged with something. And when you're excited about something and focused in that way, there's nothing else that really is distracting to you. Nothing else is pulling you away. So you want to understand that's what flow is. And you want to recognize too, without the encouragement of other people or validation from other people, what puts you in that state of flow? What are the things that put you in that state of excitement? What are the things that put you in that state of focus to where nothing else matters but the thing you're engaged in? This is going to help you guys to kind of recognize, one, have you been attending to those things or not? And two, now's the time to start doing it. Okay. So please be aware this week too, when you guys are, starting your new ideas or trying to revel into your new energies and so forth, that you're allowing yourself to be the only, co-signer on the idea. You don't need someone else to co-sign on that for you, that your decision, your excitement and focus alone is enough. Okay. Let me shuffle some oracles because I want to see there's a little bit of a second part to this. I'm also trying not to go too much into Libra season because I'm going to see that for Chris and I when we get on. Regarding what to expect for this Libra season coming forward. Yeah, I mean, I love even the oracles coming out here about talking about the path, right? You guys understand and know the path. You guys really understand the path that's within you. And the unexpected card comes in two ways for me. One, we should be expecting the unexpected in a sense, because, that's where inspiration flows. In the unexpected, there's space for growth and realization and things you've never thought about. And look, I didn't even see this here. Growth was a third card here. And so this is very important for us to understand about, the unexpected is where it's at. That's where the new ideas are. The old patterns of the past, the old paradigms, the mundane, the boring is not in the unexpected. So define the unexpected as excitement and inspiration and growth, because that's where the new version of you exists, in that unexpected energy. So let's push this forward this week. Let's dive on into our desires. Let's dive on into the power we have within to create. And whoever your role models are, because, there's a lot of people that we look up to and ask them, how would they, take care? How would they embrace their skill sets and talents? Would they just hop in, or would they question whether or not people are going to like it or not, right? So get out of your head in that sense and start validating yourself. A couple more cards here for the week. Because I feel like it's just not quite done yet. I feel like it's still kind of open-ended on that read. I also feel too like, there's, I just kept hearing to guys about practicality, right? Devil card, King of Pentacles. So for me, it's like you guys are kind of too dense, too grounded in what you're doing, being overly practical and kind of mundane with what you're doing. And understand that mundane energy is a mind in a loop. And when a mind's in a loop this way, it's so dense, it really isn't going to gravitate and expand anywhere. Be conscious of these loops, and don't shortchange yourselves of what you actually do deserve. Because a lot of times, if we don't feel like we deserve something, we'll make excuses on why we can't do it or why it wouldn't happen. When you start working on an inner worth and understand that, why would you not be worth these things? And why would you not be able to create this sort of value for yourself when it comes to this future endeavor that you might want to engage in? Then you start kind of intellectualizing and rationalizing why not? Because that's a simple question you should ask yourself. It's like, why not? Why couldn't I? And then every inspiration will come through, and the intellect will also let you know if you're maybe thinking outside the box too much, or to kind of narrow it down and become in the middle. So it's time to be more rational when it comes to your future endeavors and get it going, guys. Let's get things going. Let's push it forward. All right. We have a short little message from Nina too. And then we'll come on with Chris Reck. So here's a quick little message from Nina for the week.
What is up, Thursday crew? It is me, Nina. I'm excited to share this channel message and pull for y'all. So when I was tapping in this morning, I kept getting this imagery of like, don't underestimate your magic anymore. Don't underestimate your inner strength anymore. And the example Spirit was showing me was like in the movie Hercules, when Hercules the whole time kind of just underestimated his spirit and his strength. Like he didn't even know he was a god up until the end. And he found out when he basically had like this dark night of the soul transformation where all the magic and all the strength and all the godness of him got drained. And then he realized he had inner strength. And the whole time he was a son of a god. And so this is the same energy I'm getting as this channel message is, don't underestimate your magic. Don't be quick to look up to the other person who's doing it and go, I don't think I can start this career yet. I don't think I can be in this relationship yet. I don't think I can yet until I am at this godlike level. But Spirit's saying that like godlike level or that goddess like level is within you the same way it was in Hercules the whole time. And so if you've had a week where you've had to rest and kind of take it slow, just remember that Hercules did the same and he had a glow up, and so will you. Just trust in that inner strength and that goddess-like energy that's within you.
I love that. I mean, remember, if someone calls you a son of a bitch, say, I'm not a son of a bitch, I'm a son of a god. Right? That power within, the God power with you. That's very, very true. All right, let's take a short little commercial break by yours truly, and we'll get prepared and get Chris on. So, be right back. Are you or your loved ones suffering from CRDR like this? Even though I have absolutely no game plan, I'm going to be a multi-millionaire in the next 6 months just by visualizing. Because as all the YouTube videos say, I'm worth it. Or like this.
Even though he's straight and he's gone to prison for gay bashing, I can see us together, super cute. So I'm going to go up to him directly and I'm going to ask him out. Because I'm worth it.
Or how about like this?
Even though I'm 60 years old and have absolutely no rhythm and a butt as flat as a pancake, I'm visualizing my inner Kardashian coming out. So I'm quitting my job and I'm going to twerk my way to the top because I'm worth it.
Are you or your loved ones suffering from the creating reality despite reality syndrome? Well, hi, I'm Scott Cruz, psychic medium and mentor, and I'm here to help. Helping you to bring your actual thoughts into actual reality. Bringing the I am, the I'm into possibilities. Helping you to avoid decades of delusion, as well as making very fatal mistakes.
It's okay! I can alter gravity with my mind!
So visit scottcruzpm.com and find out what your possibilities are.
Hello, this is Donkey Trump, and together we can make manifestation great again.
Speaking of donkeys, hey Chris.
Oh wow, thanks.
I'm kidding. How's it going, my friend? How's everything going?
It's going. How are you?
It's good since this morning on Leading Out Loud, so not much has changed in a couple hours. How's that hurricane? Right. Is the hurricane over there still going on?
Yeah, I don't think it's raining yet, but it's close.
Oh,
it's
yet.
like right on the edge. Yeah.
So if Chris gets tired, the hurricane did it, okay, guys?
Exactly. We're gonna blame the hurricane for
the hurricane went out. Yes.
Yeah.
So we have Libra. We're in Libra season. So what does it mean for you, Chris, with the whole Libra season, and what can you forecast for this period?
Yeah, I think this one's special because we have the eclipse in Libra on October 2nd, and like right after it, Jupiter goes retrograde in Gemini. And so I think this one's a little bit different. Like most people think Libra, they think of balance. And I think because Jupiter in Gemini, that it's also going to be like, I said this morning, we're all like living on one side of the fence and we need to look at the other side of the fence. Geminis sit on the fence. They look at both sides. And, so I think that's what's important about this one. It's not so much, it's still going to be about balance, but I think it's more about kind of, looking at the other side, right?
True. Yeah. And I think too, and I've kind of been a broken record about this, is kind of like the this and that energy. Sometimes like we also have to recognize if it's this or that, but sometimes it's this and that. And a lot of times even in the reads that I get, I'm sure you get this too in your reads, like someone asks a question, you're like, I have both. They love you and they're leaving, right? So it's also important for us to understand it doesn't have to be always black and white. There is a neutral zone as well as sometimes it's just both are true in our lives. And so I think a lot of times people spend their lives in imbalance because they're trying to pick a side on things, so why don't you pull some cards for the week for us, and what's your take on, say, the week ahead before we get into the one-on-ones?
And the other thing I would say about what you just said too is that, I believe in third place solutions. So, third place solutions are things that you've never thought of before. And, could or might not be black or white or gray. It might be like some other color. So, I think people need to look for those solutions as well. But for the week ahead, we have the Magician, Five of Swords, and the Moon. So, I mean, literally what Scott said at the beginning about manifesting your dream or whatever you're thinking about starting on Earth. Even the Moon is thinking, I thought yours and Nina's reading were like very similar. We're like,
wasn't it?
Really did kind of say the same thing, right? I mean,
Right.
in a lot of ways. And the moon always makes me think of that, because the moon, you have to go down this path on the moon card without knowing if you're going to get to those mountains or not.
Right.
And so,
Right.
it's part of the fool's journey. And even the Five of Swords is my card of risk taking, and taking a risk. So, taking the risk of using a different tool in your life is
Right.
the way that I would kind of read this for the week.
Yeah, it's interesting because, I also have the unexpected card, which kind of is similar to the moon card too, right? Kind of like walking the path. And so sometimes a little bit of trepidation is kind of actually excitement. I think a lot of times people confuse anxiety and excitement sometimes, and so, we love to see those horror movies or go to like Not Scary Farm and go to that haunted house, right? So like, let's walk a path, a little bit of excitement and the unknown, and let the excitement of the universe like unfold for us, and that's, of course, if we're in this flow and we've, I would say resolved our karma, because a lot of people trying to manifest when they're not resolving their karma. Once you resolve karma, then you can like manifest like a powerhouse. Like you can call the shots and things just fall into play. And I think a lot of people should be experiencing that in the Libra season too. What else do you have to offer before we hop into the one reads that you want to kind of pitch to people about what you're doing now?
Yeah. Right now, Minnow Pond Tarot YouTube channel and Chris Reck YouTube channel, we're posting a bunch of stuff there. And I'm working on a bunch of secret stuff behind the scenes that will be coming out soon.
Always.
So, tons of secrets, as always.
And what about, and do you still have the mystical pickle there? Is it in the session now?
We have the mystical pickle, which is the LOL mascot. And we can ask it something.
Sorry, I wasn't listening. What was the question?
Didn't even know what the question was. So no answer. There's your no answer for the night.
Yeah, because I would love that mystical pickle this morning, which is interesting. So imagine if we showed up and people are like, oh, sorry, don't have an answer for your question. Imagine we do that in our reads, right?
Yeah, right.
Which is interesting. I just want to kind of pull a card too, in that sense. The Justice card kind of like flopped out too. And that's also about balance and being fair too. I also feel as well, because that was kind of like sticking out to me and resonating with me as well, the energy like moving forward for a lot of people who are trying to get, justice in situations illegally or through relationships or some sort of truth being told. It is a good time to push for that. So if you have some sort of an issue that you were thinking about, pursuing a legal matter on, now's the time to do that. Especially standing up on your ground and fighting for what is just for you, both figuratively and literally, is a really good time to make those things come to full play. So if there's any legal issues, it will go in your favor if you're pushing for it. So I want to say that. Okay, let's hop on to the readings, the one-on-ones. I'm going a lot faster than I usually do, which usually my intros, usually my talks are like in the beginning, like a half hour. Okay, so we have Tara Chatterton. Let me get the link for her. She wants a live video for us. All right, so Terror. I mean, that's very New Yorker. Terror, please check your transaction. And I'm going to put a link in the transaction on your Venmo, and that will give you the link to call in to the show, and we'll meet you on the screen, and we'll take a question while we're waiting for that. Which is another. We have another video, and after that, so go to another question. Yeah, another question. Question, your Aqua reads are awesome. This is for Chris, actually. Your Aqua reads are awesome. For me being Aqua, what's my relocating goal I should be focused on when I move? This is my sister, by the way, which is why she's asking you.
Awesome. Yes. So for Scott's sister, I thought Scott was the sister, but I'm wrong. And you have the moon and the King of Swords. This is about getting out of the house and exploring, which I just moved and I've been really bad about this. So, I think exploring, finding new things. This is Aquarius, King of Swords. So I'm going to pull you more stuff. Yeah, like literally, if I keep pulling, it's just going to say the same thing. So I would say get out into the world. The world is literally entering into a new world, and creating your world as like creating your environment as well. So anything you could do to create the environment you want, like surround yourself with better people, explore the area. Like I said, could find love or new friends with the Two of Cups, because Two of Cups is really just soulmates. It's like people you really connect with. And so I would focus on the social aspect of it. And I think we need, we're in a time where we need to be more social anyway. So, entering into Pluto and Aquarius, absolutely. So I would focus on all that.
Yeah, community. And that makes sense too, because, she just moved to a new location. So it makes sense because she's going to have to find a new community of people that's outside of Staten Island. So, all right, we got Tara joining in. Let's get her in here. Let's add her to maybe the middle or the right. Let's see. Hi, Tara.
Hi.
You're on.
Hi, you're on.
Okay.
Do you have a volume up there? Because it's hard to hear you a little bit.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes. So what's your question? So we will tag team. You have a question, we'll both answer with our different modalities.
I'm going to close the other window. I think I'm getting double. Are you okay? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So let's see. I'm a healer, and I'm just really struggling to put myself out there. I'm trying to figure out what that's going to look like. I have all these ideas. I've created my own healing system. I wrote a book, but I just haven't.
Don't tell us.
Oh, don't tell me. Okay, I don't know.
Don't feed the psychics here. Let us. Yeah. But let me. I'll hop in there, and then Chris will pull the card to see if we align. Okay, so we'll look at the direction of the healing journey in that sense. I don't like the get out there phrase because it's here. You're bringing them to you, right? I'm just being overly philosophical. But let me see what's the trepidation, what we do to resolve that, and how we see that unfolding for you. Give me a couple seconds here so I can just tune in real quick. This is your passion, actually. I mean, you have a passion to heal, and so because the lover's card fell out for me, so I'm not going to do the cards. I'll let that be for Chris, but it just fell out. I think the reason why I'm saying that's your passion because you might be taking it a little too seriously. Then I think that's what's kind of holding you back from just taking the leaps. Because what if I do something wrong? It's got to be so structured. And so I get some Virgo vibes in there. I don't know if you have some Virgo somewhere in your chart. So I think if you just let yourself just jump off the cliff and dive in, because the different modalities I'm seeing too with healing, it is body to body contact. I'm seeing machinery being involved too. I'm also seeing some aspects of working with vibration and so forth in that sense. So I think that you'll start evolving into tech in a sense when it comes to healing modality as well. Not just, a instruction or some sort of a process. So I think it's really going to expand and become more scientific actually as you move forward in the future with this. And so I think really the only thing that's holding you back is the seriousness of this. Really the only advice is to what Chris was saying before in the collective read, just jump in and take that risk. Let me see if there's any kind of aversions that we need to maybe in the future that you need to be maybe prepared for, which I don't really feel that. I think you're good at guarding. I think you're good at protecting yourself too when it comes to working with other people. So I don't find an issue with there. It's more for the unknown of working with a new tech device or some sort of technology actually. And in conjunction to this, I'm also seeing some sort of writing or a book in conjunction that also describes some sort of methodology with this. And so you're really going to dive deep into more of a scientific aspect when it comes to healing actually. So there's a huge plan for you. I think you intuitively feel that and the seriousness of this. And I think the trepidation is, oh my gosh, I'm going out of the realms of just metaphysics. I'm kind of going into more physics as well and science. And so there's a great change there in that regard for me. So, any specific question with that, and then we'll pass on to Chris to do a read too. Just want to make sure we're answering all the questions there for you on that.
Well, I created my own healing method, and I might not do that virtually, but I'm kind of the kind of person who's I don't really need it to be scientifically understood, because I'm just all in spirit. So
sure, for now it would gravitate into that because I feel like you'll find different aspects of technology that will assist. That's more of an interest from me that comes off, not to prove anything, because I don't feel like you had to prove anything. I think that's why for me I felt that you're not in that spectrum of trying to go that route, but I feel like it will, but it'll bring more validity to people in a sense of working in the space. That's the evolution I see with that, but I think that again, you're working with people one-on-one as you've been doing, that will gravitate into more maybe in person, whether it be, a group aspect or a retreat aspect. Of course, as you know, I do see that work in conjunction too, but that's the next stage after that would be kind of working some sort of, technology in a sense. And it might be someone you meet that brings that into the picture too.
Well, so do you see me partnering with anyone?
When it comes to technology, yes. When it comes to when you're doing like the retreats and group aspects, I feel like you'll maybe deal with groups of people or community people that will get that going. Not necessarily having to have a partnership with that. I just think it's more about the communal connections in a sense that will get that going. But expanding into the technological space or whatever that kind of vibrational machines that people do use for healing is something I feel like will kind of come to you and it'll be like a great interest with the partnership then. And that could be in the next like 3 to 4 years on that. That's after you kind of establish the modality of like your healing process or module and that's rendered a lot of success because you're gonna get bored. That's the only problem with you just get bored in a sense like I need something new for this, and so that's only just showing your inspiration will be flowing at that time too.
Oh well, when you say machine or device, it just occurred to me what you might be referring to.
Okay, fantastic.
I'm interested in combining, so okay.
Well, there you go. Well, slap me silly and call me psychic, Chris.
Yeah, I'm gonna. Hi, Tara. Thank you for being here. I'm gonna start at the end. Because your last card was the Hangman, and Hangman to me says like you have all the knowledge and wisdom, obviously, and he has sacrifice movement, and so it tells me that, and all your other cards here are very movement based, and I would say that this would say that it's like time to make a move or time to start making moves just in general. Because again, there's nothing more for him to learn. He just has to get moving. Your first card was 4 Cups, and 4 Cups talks about like past disappointments or times where you've tried to do things and it hasn't worked out and you've been disappointed with the results you've received. But I like to remind people that he has like everything that he's done that hasn't worked out is an ingredient that he could mix together with those 4 cups, like pop it in the oven and bake a cake, right? So I think you have like a big, beautiful cake that needs to come out of the oven. I want cake right now. And that's why I'm talking about it. So that's what I think that's saying.
Yes.
Then you have the Knight of Wands and the Knight of Wands. Knight of Wands is my card throwing stuff on the wall and seeing what sticks. It's my card that says definitely don't give up. But, of course, that's like the normal meaning of the Knight of Wands. But both of these cards, Knight of Wands is very spontaneous. He just he just tries something and it always leads to something else. And as a person who works on a million things myself, I feel this energy right here all the time where I'm like, oh, I don't know what I should get started on. But if I always just like start, it always like leads to something else. And maybe it's not the original like vision that I end up at, but I do eventually get to the finish line. And that's kind of what I see for you here. It's like, I feel like you need to start putting out information and start just trying different places, different things, because it's going to like lead you to something much better and like quick as well.
Like the tech thing.
Yeah, you're obviously ready. You're more than ready with that
that's right.
energy.
Yeah, because it's just your own trepidation that's kind of just holding me back about that. And one more thing too, I'm going to say you have to make sure you don't create blockages in your solar plexus. You have to make sure you're constantly letting your solar plexus flow out, because I feel like you hold onto energy there, and that could be unconscious. So make sure you're aware of like cleaning out the solar plexus when you're doing your work, before and after you're doing your work, and during too. Okay. But yeah, I think it's a wonderful time to really get things going for sure. Yeah, It's really very positive, very successful to me too. It's not just like you're doing it and trying to. It feels very successful. I think the other ability I think that you have is you're. I hate to say it this way, but you're good at selling things to people. You're good at convincing people, right? So I think you have a very sincere quality to you. So when you say something, people can trust you very easily. And so don't take that for granted. Make sure you're aware of that power so you can very inspire in a very positive way. Okay.
Okay.
Anything else you want to ask us really quickly before we close it?
Yeah, just I'm going through a divorce, so I don't know if you see anything about that. I know that's a big question, but
the Lover's card in the verse. So let me see about that, and let me see what it represents for you really quick. Yeah, they're saying you guys don't see eye to eye, like just on a lot of things, and so even with the work that you're doing, he's not seeing like even potentials in what you're doing. So I feel like that's a major thing in that aspect. That I feel like that's a great need for the disconnection. And I think that disconnection also is going to be more of a catapult that's going to push you forward, because I honestly feel like you've been anchoring yourself down with this relationship. You've been trying to be of service to him and trying to appease him, trying to format your voice to him. And we're just like, So I think this is just more of a period for you to understand that this has been your anchor all along, and that now it's time to focus on your true love, like I said before, which is your work, and not having anybody else because of relationship, silence or deprive you of doing what you love just because they don't believe in it or see it the way you do, or don't have the support. Like I said at the beginning, encourage yourself. You don't need their encouragement.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Chris, any cards on that?
Yeah, I think it's really funny that these two are looking opposite. Literally, the first you said that, and the first two cards I pull are King of Pentacles, looking in two different, totally opposite directions. So that's interesting. And then you also have Justice and Seven of Pentacles. Justice, Libra season. Seven of Pentacles is the juice worth the squeeze card. So I mean, the Seven of Pentacles is. And so, the Seven of Pentacles is like when we've invested a bunch of time into something, and it's just time for a change. He's like looking at what he's created so far, and it's time for him to go grow something new. And so, yeah, I agree with Scott.
Grow. He needs to go grow a pair is what he needs to do. But yeah, I've got the Justice and Lovers too. So, but this is very much a new paradigm for you, my love. It's a good shift. So own that, embrace that, and understand the clearance is necessary, and you're doing the right thing moving forward. Okay.
Okay. Awesome.
And also, I think because being the fact that Chris and I both got the Justice card, and I don't mean to go over with this too much, but I also, any type of legalities regarding the divorce will be dealt with in a be dealt in a very balanced, fair way. I don't feel like he would be vindictive this way, because I also feel like he would want that to be balanced too. Because I mean, he knows that if someone sets you off, you'll attack like a cat, like you will, if you need to. He knows that. He doesn't want to pull that out of you. So I feel like the legalities will be very just for your situation moving forward with the divorce and so forth. So, okay.
Yeah, that's what I really wanted to know.
Okay, love. Well, it was a pleasure to see you.
Yeah, you too. Thank you so much.
Kisses. All right. Bye. Good night.
Bye.
Okay, that was great. And we have now Sydney Aaron. Sydney says, "Hi, Scott. Hi, Chris. Love you. Star, 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 star. What's the vibe for Sacred Blueprints from now through the end of the year? What's the advice? What's missing?" The Sacred Blueprints, I get a little resistance on that, Sydney. I think that there's still some more flexibility than a blueprint that's going on here. But let me kind of get a general gist of that. I've said this before to you, Sydney, and maybe read a couple weeks ago, or even a month ago, about you coming out of your shell and really coming out of the hibernation period. And that's can expand in so many different branches of this. And what that really means is that you're finding what your true, I wouldn't say purpose, that sounds cliche, but you're really finding your true purpose. And of course, understanding what it's like to be in that sense of community, finding the right people around you. And I think it really is, for the end of this year, you have to create more of the dynamic, actually, with the future moving forward. I think you might be sitting too much waiting for some sort of inspiration to come through, or something to tell you, I need to be doing this. I think that's something you have to decide and figure out for yourself. By a little brainstorming is not bad. It's means you're digging more into your soul to see what's more important to you at this moment, or how do you want to express it. So the device is saying the blueprint aspect, what's actually in stone for you, is the fact that you're coming into your own now. You're coming out of your shell with so many different dynamics, but it's up to you now to create different ways you want to express that. And I feel like it's going to spawn from your expression with communities, and when you're experiencing different modalities of people that you haven't experienced before, that'll spawn some inspiration of what you do more creatively.
I have nothing to add to that, because he literally just read all three cards that I have here. But you have the Eight of Swords, the Four of Swords, and the Three of Cups, which is like getting out of your shell. I mean, Eight of Swords is the shell, Four of Swords is a shell, resting, relaxing, recovering, and the Three of Cups is celebration, being around with other people. Spending time with other people. I mean, I think you could maybe ask for more as well. Four Cups, Four Swords is kind of like hoping and praying, but it could also be asking, especially with the Three of Cups, people for whatever it is that you need. So I think a little bit of speaking up here would be a good energy for you. But yeah, I mean, there's really that was perfect, Scott.
Well, look at this too. Look, the Hermit in reverse too.
Hermit in reverse, yeah.
So yeah, and so Cindy says, I've been resting and recovering. Well, that's part of the process too, my love. Rest is also a vital, part of our lives, and part of what we need. right? And so you should be resting a lot. I always say it's a calm before the storm. And I always say when you feel that need to rest, it's almost like you're preparing for that burst of a new paradigm to come into your position. So you should be getting ready for that. So I also want to say that's really good and almost like congratulations that you're in this new essence of that. And so like a firecracker energy, but yeah, I would say too, don't overly question it either. You know, don't overthink it. And she says, Yahoo, whoop, whoop. Okay, we have Heather Pilar. Okay. Will my financial project with my friend become profitable in November? The other payment app is down for me. Okay, they're just saying about Venmo. You're fine. This is just a question. So we just need Venmo for the live video sessions, and so you're fine, Heather. You're great. Let me see about your financial project with your friend. Become profitable in November. Oh, maybe the card just saying something else than what I was going to say. Let me say it for Chris. Look, there's so many changes that's going to be happening this month, actually. So I don't know why I'm feeling a reconsideration of a location, either for where you might be studying or moving. I just feel like a location shift with something. And I also feel like, whether or not this will be profitable in November, that's kind of a very sharp, question to ask. I think it will get started in November. It might take maybe some time for the profitability to come into play, but I feel like it will come into play. I do feel like there will be this, it gives me a new beginning energy, starts like a new project, but also something that's going in a great favor, but it's not going to go from 0 to 60. It's definitely going to start with a slow momentum. So my advice is to say, yes, I would say stick with the consistency on this. And please understand, just because something's out doesn't mean all of a sudden it's going to sell. Many people release a book like, why did it become a bestseller? I'm like, does anyone know about it because you post on Amazon? No, right? So same thing here. Just make sure you do what you can do to continue with that momentum. I feel in time. Is November the time it will start to become profitable? Sure. Is it going to peak profitability? No. But I also feel in October, there's going to be plenty of fair share of things coming new into your life. Let me scan the partnership too and make sure what the pluses and minuses are there, because that could also be a detriment to such. Okay. You feel like the more rationally minded person. The other one, your partner seems a little... What's the word? That could be very more dreamy. Yeah, I was going to say delusional, but she the good part of that is she can think outside the box. But when it comes to the financials and the more logistics of things, she needs to kind of rely on you more for this. So please make sure you understand her overly creative mind could be a benefit, but understand how it could also be a disservice if you're trying to be rational about financial projections. So for me, I feel like where it really starts becoming more profitable is like more March of next year. So where I feel like you start like, hey, things are really going well. And so you've kind of built up a momentum to March of next year. And so that's where I kind of feel like you guys are having more stability. The great thing about the partnership is you're both passionate. You both have a great idea about what you want to pursue with this. And I also feel like your other partner is good at making connections. So I feel like her social, expressions or social strengths to her personality can also bring people in that need to bring people to help the business move forward too. So it will take some time, but I feel like it's definitely on the right track in that sense. But don't be thinking too much about like, when is it coming? When is it coming? When is it coming? You'll lose sight of what needs to be done to get it there, actually. Chris, what do you think?
Yeah, I feel pretty much the same. I mean, you have the 7 of Cups, 7 of Pentacles, and the Star card. 7 of Cups would be that dreaminess, the kind of...
That's what I was thinking, that card.
Needing the grounded reality, right, in the situation. So I think as long as like someone is steering the ship and keeping it focused, like focus is super important with the Star. The Star has all these other... I just threw it, but has all these other little stars around it. And the Star is about having a North Star, having like you pick something to do and you only get that one thing done. That's what I always think of with the Star. Very good card, very good for a business. I was kind of leaning towards the beginning of the year. Scott said March, which is pretty much the beginning of the year. Maybe a little bit earlier with the Star card would be like January. But with these two cards are about, to me, 2 sevens. I read tarot differently than most people, and I have some clues in tarot. And so 2 sevens is a clue to me for internal fears that don't exist. And so there might be some fears that like one or both people need to overcome, or there might be, that might be a point of resistance. It's like if you,
Chris,
yeah, 7 of Pentacles. There you go.
I had pulled the same card.
Yeah, if like one partner has money blocks and it's like you don't know why they're like resisting you wanting to do like advertising, just giving you an example, it might really be their money block. It might not be a real like issue that exists. So that's kind of popping into my head with these two. Like some of those things might need to be worked through between now and the beginning of the year. But I also feel like I would be confrontational, not like a jerk, of course, but I feel like you need to be the one that is confrontational, like
a Scott.
And be Scott and call her a donkey or whatever at the beginning of your reading, and call those things out right away. And I think if you do that and talk through things, it'll be good.
I think it's crazy we both got that set of pentacles there, because I just pulled that before, like to see the conclusion. So that's amazing. I love that. So yeah, but all in all, really good. In the long run, for sure.
Really good.
Okay, Patricia Bonecutter, I sent you a link in the Venmo to click in to call in, so make sure you do that because we're waiting on that to come in. So check your Venmo, Patricia Bonecutter, so you can actually see the link. Click on the link, and we'll bring you in live because we're waiting on that. All right, Astro Elements. It also breaks up the monotony of no people on the screen. This is our general. What the F is happening? Family, love life, future. Well, my love, you paid for one question, so pick one. So we'll pick one for you. Okay. This is for Astro Elements. Overall, because I don't know where to start with that. Like general, what the fuck is happening? But let me look within, because the family, love life, and future. That's all like results of like what you're focusing on and all that stuff, right? So, give me a couple seconds so I can just hone in and tune into this where I want to go with that. It's so general. Okay. They're saying that you're not looking at what's in front of you. Like your craft, whatever craft that you have needs to expand. And I think your guides or spiritual counsel, whoever you define your spirit, support to be, is trying to get you to look at what you've been doing and to expand it more. You're looking outside too much of, well, what about this now? I need to get this done now. And they're saying, no, you still need to complete the project ahead of you at hand and expand your craft. Because once you start something new, when you haven't completed what you've been working on, then you'll never get what you've been working on completed, and it'll be a distraction. And that will also make you feel fragmented because you're now starting maybe a relationship. So therefore you don't have time for your job. You're trying to get that ahead, and then you'll feel fragmented. Then you'll lose the relationship. So right now they're saying, please complete your focus of your craft and the upgrading of your craft so that can sustain more of a consistent momentum for you. And then the love life starts coming in. So, love life for me, if we just want to generally tap into that, I don't really feel it happening till like mid to later last year. You kind of diving into that, or at least repairing the love aspect of your life. They're saying too, that you need to clear out even past energy of love. And so I think you need to also understand that whatever energies of past relationships are lingering subconsciously or even physically need to go. So they're saying right now you need to declutter and clear out the space of the past, really engage with your craft and expand that, so then you have a new perspective of what's going on with love life, family, relationships, and all that stuff. So the question was too all over the place for one question, but that's kind of the summary of maybe why you're feeling in contempt of things. They're saying you're looking too far out for other things and expanding your craft and the love of what you're doing. Yeah, Chris?
Yeah, I think, this looks pretty good for love if you want it. Sorry, I don't even want to pick up this card, but you have the Eight of Wands at the end, which would, Eight of Wands to me is a card of meeting someone through socializing. So very good. Emperor, Four of Wands, card of marriage. So if you want love, I would definitely get out there and socialize. But when I look at this, I see a lot of completion energy. Four Wands is a portal. And so Four Wands, sure, it could be marriage, but to me, there is always like a portal we have to cross through with the Four Wands. It can come up in readings when people are like needing to wrap up a project, needing to wrap up an idea. And, the Eight of Wands is a very free energy. I always say Eight of Wands is my card of creating a slip and slide in life. I tell people to specifically look for friction when they get the Eight of Wands and try to smooth out the friction or remove as much friction as they possibly can from their life. It's a very good card. It's a great card of success, but we have to, like Scott said, kind of like be super focused, and we have to get rid of things that are causing friction, resistance, slowing us down. And as long as you focus on that, and I also feel take control. I would also say, Emperor energy would be missing the Empress. And so balancing out the feminine side, more creative energy, bringing in more creative energy, more self-care, things like that would probably be a good idea for you. Mixed bag. Reading fruit salad is what that was.
Just saying, we're like 3 for 3 now because that
four months. There you go.
I can't make it up. I love it. Okay, we have Patricia here to the right. Hello, Patricia.
Hello.
Hi, Chris and Scott.
How's it going? What's your question for us?
Well, I have a business. I've had it for 22 years, and the last 9, it's just been a weight on my shoulders.
Well, that's not good.
I just don't know what to do anymore.
Become a bodybuilder with all that weight. Let's see what the advice is, because we'll see what the advice is on this too, and what you're missing. Because a lot of times I've seen many people have like stress about what they're doing, but it really isn't about what they're doing. It's what they're not doing that can bring the love back into what they've been doing. So let me see if that's the case here, and what you're missing here. Give me a second. Let me just tune in here. Right. Yeah, it's kind of what I was saying before. You're not nurturing any other dynamic other than your work. And so therefore your work has become the brunt of your stress, the brunt of your, I would say, frustration. Because I don't feel like you're actually nurturing other dynamics in your life that have to do of things outside of work. And so I think that once you start nurturing your social life, you start nurturing other aspects, you'll find that your work is just your work there. You can do it with your eyes closed because you have other dynamics in your life that are satisfying. And then you might decide to do something differently with the work in the business that you have at that time. But I think right now is that you've only been doing and focusing on work that it just becomes such a drag that you're not allowing yourself to feel satisfied in other dynamics in your life. I feel like you have a lot of people very dependent on you as far as in relationships, or just a lot of people are kind of pulling you down in that energy space to where I feel like that really your only mission has been to be for other people, work for other people. I feel like you're been coming last in life. And so because of that, all these other dynamics that need to be nurtured are not being nurtured the way they really need to, so we feel happy and balanced. So like I was saying before, I think it's more so the work has been exhausting and frustrating for 9 years and so repetitive because it's all you've been really engaging with. And so they're saying it's time to kind of step outside of the box from that. I think there's a delay.
I don't know. Well, I've not been physically at my business for 9 years, and it's just been a drain trying to figure out what's going on, because when I moved, I can do my work on the internet. But when I moved, the shop just started falling apart. We've lost customers. I have to borrow money and put money on credit cards to keep it going every month. And I'm just.
But why do you think that is, though? But why do you think that is? Because you stepped away from it, right? That's been your source for a long time. It's been your main focus, right? And you're trying to find footing in other aspects outside of your work, so you're not finding the balance of the dynamic in your life. So that's kind of taking its energetic, I would say, spiral down in a sense. Do you know what I'm saying? Because if you don't know what to do with it, you're not really engaged with it. And who's really putting the nurturing energy into it when it's really just been very conditional for you for so long? You know? And so let me ask you this question here. You know, besides the work aspects, where are you putting the energy? Where are you expressing your energy outside of the work and the business?
I've been taking care of sick family.
What did I tell you before? Because I told you, you have so many people dependent on you, right? And you said, I don't know. And you're saying what you've been doing is been caretaking people. So like I said before, you are letting people who are dependent on you, the business is dependent on you, you've exhausted yourself thin, you have no other dynamics in your life that are nurturing for you. Right? There's nothing that's nurturing Patricia, and that's the problem. And because you're so exhausted nurturing people around you, you're not feeling love energy, you're not feeling excited energy. Of course, a business, the business is lacking your energy, so it's crumbling now because no one else is holding it up energetically because you're not doing it anymore. You're exhausted. You're too beat. You're spread thin. And that's, if you understand, my love, if you understand, think right. So if you understand things, if you look at your business as far as like when you water a plant, right? What your energy is the water for the plant. And if you look at the business, say, how have I been watering my business with my energy? I resent it. I know I have too much time. I don't have time to deal with it anymore. It can't run itself. Of course, naturally, it's just going to dwindle. And so right now it's really important for you to really start looking at the balance now. And if you have to be a caretaker for someone you love and people are dependent on you, then you're going to start having to filter things out of your life that's not going to be so taking of you to where you won't be able to caretake any longer either, because your health is starting to be affected.
Right.
There's a delay. So what I'm saying is it's just reshifting the focus on that. You have to find time and other dynamic in your life that's going to nurture you and not take from you. This way you can reset if you have to be the caretaker. And you can then look at your business as a very kind of, mundane, simplistic faith. The way it's like, okay, let me just get this going here. Maybe I can hire somebody to take care of things, and let's keep it simple because I can't be there. You put a simple premise on how you can have it work for itself and support itself. Then you'll feel less stress. You can caretake your loved ones and then find other things in life that really kind of nurture you and support you and fill you back up. Right? Because the emotional stress that you were in, the psychological stress you is because you're fragmented. All these pieces of Patricia are being dispersed out in so many different ways, but there's nothing going to Patricia. Zero. Right? But look at the logic behind that. Look at the rationale behind that. What would you expect if that's how you've been divulging your energy? What would you expect to happen? Exactly what's happening. And so if you're caretaking, you must tell the people you're caretaking, I need this time for myself to rejuvenate. I need this time for myself to unwind. And you must schedule that in for yourself, because your mental health is at stake as well as your physical health is at stake. And again, we can care so much, but we say the road to hell is paved with good intentions. All because you're doing something good intentions doesn't necessarily mean it's good for you or the other people either. So make sure you're being very clear about this with yourself. Okay. I think that once you look at it that way, you'll be more simplistic in how to have the business run itself, by maybe hiring certain people to help run it on its own. You'll start seeing it build up again because you're putting a little bit more focus and love into it, and you're caretaking the people you love and putting those, find balance between you and what you're responsible for. You're taking time for yourself. Then you'll feel clear again. Then when you're clear again, the inspiration, what you can do for the business to grow again and secure yourself will be easy. You start resurrecting again, and you'll feel like I have other aspects in my life that are nurturing, that I care about. You'll say, I got this now. Then you put it back in balance. Okay. Chris, what do you want to add to that?
Same. She has the Page of Wands, Page of Swords, Six of Cups. I was thinking this would be like taking care of something like a child. And, literally my advice was going to be on the Six of Cups to fall back in love with business, because Six of Cups is thinking in love, it would be like thinking about what is the original reason I fell in love with this person? But with a business, it would be the same thing. What was the original reason that you fell in love with the business, and bringing that energy back out. And I was thinking caretaking too, because of all the children energy here. It doesn't say you're taking care of children, obviously, but it's definitely that type of vibe going on here of needing to take care of something.
The dependence.
Yeah. I mean, I think the advice would be to fall back in love with it, right, and try to fix it with this type of energy right here. Yeah, I want to see what the top card was, and you have the Lovers. So literally falling back in love with the, needing to fall back in love with it in any way you can.
Yeah, I remember the things that really, and I love that addition, Chris, to that, because remember what excited you about it in the first place.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And right now you haven't had the intellectual bandwidth to go there because
I wanted to help people.
Right. Mm-hmm. You are, but be careful for what you wish for, because now you're in over your head helping people that you can't help yourself. Right. And so you just remember what made you fall in love with that, and allow yourself to understand you haven't had the intellectual bandwidth to disperse yourself all this way. So I would say recommend having someone come in to help maybe run the business while you're not there. Maybe to hire somebody new. I do feel like a new employee coming in to help, or hiring a new employee, or getting rid of an employee that can help run it when you're not there, to also be an assistance and also put a new energy fresh into the business too. This way, what you're doing is you're repairing that. You feel at ease with it again. It can now run itself without your with limited, hands on that. Then you can focus on caretaking, and then focus on what you can do for Patricia. That's going to really kind of fill your soul, because you need that, my love. How if you don't have the fuel, how the hell are you going to, be there for somebody else? And if you're on E, then they're going to be on E, then the whole thing crumbles. You know what I'm saying? So you got to do it for you now at this point. And also remind yourself too, you're caretaking the people that you are caretaking because you love them. Remind yourself of the love that you have for them too. Right. And that love energy will get you through it. That reminder of the love and saying, I want to help people, I'm doing this, that reminder could help clear out the stress too, but also give you the clarity of what you could do to de-stress and fulfill yourself up with your own personal excitements. So it's just a shift on looking at it. I feel like you'll get this on board next year too. So I think, you'll find more of that balance toward the end of this year. You'll find that balance. It'll start clicking in. And I feel like by next year, I feel like you start feeling like things are going up again. The business kind of stabilizing once again. You don't really have to be so focused on it, but you understand it's there for a reason, and you're maintaining that. So I do feel like you'll find your balance by early next year, the first quarter of 2025. And I think a lot we're saying is going to make sense, toward the end of this year too, which we're already in October. So, all right.
Right.
You got this. You got to fill yourself up, my love. Go nurture, pamper yourself, refresh, clear out the emotional and intellectual congestion. You have to make time for that. You do. Watch how it'll change your clarity. It'll change your perspective and make you feel clear, and you'll see things a lot differently. You have the inspiration to maintain and to multi-focus like you need to, like you've always been. Okay?
Okay.
Anything else that you have for Chris right before we close it? That's probably the main thing. That's everything we talked about is everything you're dealing with,
Right. Right.
So keep it simple. Just remember what we said. And if, my love, if you have to rewatch this, or if you want me to clip it down for you to rewatch it again, just email me and I'll clip this part down for you so you can watch it in, so it could be a reminder for you. And this way your brain will be like, okay, I get it. Your soul will be like, I get it. And you'll get that way of thinking. So rewatch this. And if you want me to clip it down, I could do that for you after the session if you just send me an email. Okay?
All right. Thank you.
All right, my love. Have a wonderful rest of your night. Go do something yourself tonight. Okay? Do something that makes you feel good tonight. Like, really be conscious of doing that tonight, okay? Before you go to bed. Simple. Sounds cheesy, I know. Do that. Do that. It sounds cheesy, but we have to maybe eat some cheese every now and then, okay?
Everybody needs cheese.
Exactly. All right, my love. Have
cheese.
All right. You're on the right track then. All right, my love. Have a wonderful evening.
You too. Thank you.
Bye-bye. Bye.
Good night.
Yeah, I think there was a little bit of delay there.
Yeah.
And that's a good message for a lot of people too, Chris, because how many people, I know you talk to a lot of people who are empathetic and they're like, I got to help people. Then they become overly responsible for everybody and thinking that's their lot in life. And it isn't, I'm sure you see a lot with your clients too, right? Or people that you speak with, right?
Yeah, I mean, I call it cat lady syndrome, which I probably shouldn't call it that anymore. But to me, like, I used to live in a neighborhood. We had a cat lady, and like all her cats were suffering. They were all like dying and miserable because she was trying to take care of too much. And I always say we only have so much to give. So, it would have been better for her to pick like 2 or 3 cats, maybe. I still think that's I think that's 3 too many cats.
That's too many too, yeah.
But still, it would have been better for her to do that because she could have taken care of those cats.
How many lizards do you have though, Chris?
Lizards are totally different. Lizards are, they're this big. They're super small. They don't take up much space. And I take very good care of them.
Hey, I'm very proud. There's a little Scotty lizard too. Like, we'll have to take pictures of it too.
Yes, I need to. Yeah, we should put up a picture of Scott.
Yeah, because I was telling Eric, I'm like, we have a baby lizard named Scott now. I was so happy about that. Okay,
the first person that I can name one after.
I love that. I'm so proud. Yeah, because I can't wait to see it change colors. You said it turns blue, right? You said.
Yeah, so that one eventually, like, it gets this like purplish blue color on it, and
nice. Oh, you know me, I love my purples and blues. So, okay. So, guys in the room, like, that was a very important message for a lot of empaths in the room too. Like, don't overcome yourself helping people, because I always say, if you go to the mission where there's homeless people, you start giving out money, the people are going to come up there and take your money. They're not going to give it back to you. They're going to be like trampling on themselves to take that money. They're not going to give it back. So you can't expect yourself to give to people that need to be, who want to take from you, and expect them to still give it back to you. There's got to be ways for you to reap that yin and yang, the ebb and flow of life. And so it can't be all out. There needs to be a balance of the ebb and flow. And so if you're not getting from the people that you're helping, you got to find other ways in life to get that reception of what you need. Okay, we have 2 questions for Love You Mostly by Joanne. Can we just say Joanne? Okay, Joanne. During meditation, I heard a female voice speak to me in a language not from this world. I've had that done. Yet I knew exactly what she was saying. Who was it? It was so peaceful. Well, let me see the first question. We'll do it side by side, just so I don't put Chris to sleep. With over 2 questions together. Someone said they thought you were nodding off. I'm like, oh, he always looks like that.
Yeah, I always look like that.
Yeah. And we are both tired. When I get tired, I just ramble. So you might have to stop me, Chris, if I keep rambling. I know the female voice for me. I heard galactic interdimensional being. So I don't know even these. I don't even know parts of other planets that people incarnated from. I know Devin said she was told she was incarnated in some planet Earthog. What was it called? I don't remember. What was it? Do you remember, Chris? The planet
I don't remember what she said. Yeah, it was something like that.
Ordog or Zarthog?
No, I thought she said Sirius the other day.
No, she said something else. I mean, she said she connect with the star Sirius, but a planet named something. I don't know. We'll have to look back. But
yeah, we'll have
my
to
point is. Right. My point is, I feel like this was an interdimensional galactic being that you have connects with from another planet. So it doesn't necessarily feel angelic, or it kind of feels angelic to me. I think the energy presented to you like it was an angelic being, but it feels like more intergalactical, an interdimensional being that you've had other connections with in other lifetimes from a different planet. So again, it's always about the downloads and the energy that we're getting. So I've had that a lot of times in my meditations where I've even written down other languages or heard another language and I knew what it meant, or I looked it up and it was exactly a phrase that represented me. So I would say just understand it's always for you going to be some sort of a galactic connection. My guides are saying that's going to be mostly what you're going to be receiving when it comes to those types of experiences. So what do you feel about that, Chris?
Yeah,
simplistically.
the first thing that popped into my head was like alien, something, and you have the hermit, which would be a guide. So it could be like an interdimensional guide, or even extraterrestrial guide as well. I think anytime we have like other languages, it's always like probably interdimensional.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I feel just like a past life connection or previous life connection to this entity. Mm-hmm. So it's not foreign. It feels old. Feels like past connection. So, but the message for you too, my love, is about you're a communicator. So you need to understand that their message is to understand that you need to focus more on your communication. Not that you're bad at it. The fact that you're actually really good at communication, but finding ways to express communication in different formats through the modalities that you're doing, and really kind of spice up your communication that comes from the soul. That's really what that guide represents. Okay, second question is, how do I get her to talk to me again? Okay. That's the same thing. How to get her to talk to me again? I've tried asking, but I'm not getting a response. You're not going to get the same meaning in the same context. A lot of times, these types of interdimensional galactic guides come to give you downloads, and a lot of times the download is all that's necessary for them to lower frequency to communicate with you. They don't always want to lower frequency just to talk to you. So what we want to do is we're kind of interpreting for you now about focusing on your expression of communication from the soul, what you're doing. When you're ready for another information, she will appear again. So this will not be like a daily occurrence, especially because you have past experiences with this guide. It's more about a signature frequency that you have downloaded within you that connects with that. So this guide was here to remind you of that. So when you activate that presence or that frequency within you in the communication aspect, there may be another visitation to where she can guide you along the way with that too. So it's more about a download, not so much a constant visitation. I don't know if you have anything to add to that, Chris, or not, or...
No, what was the question?
She was wondering like how she get that guy to talk to her again, is what I was saying. And she tried to ask me, she's not getting a response.
And I pulled the Six of Swords, which is, this is the guide in the back of the boat. So I feel like it's always with you. I feel like it's always around you. So Yeah, probably nothing. Just tapping in, right?
Right, it's part of your frequency, and so the visitation aspect is to get you be aware of as for a download. But there's such a past connection with this, so I think a lot of times we think that there always needs to be a mariachi band when we talk to our guides. Sometimes you'll just get a push to do something that's from your guide. It doesn't have to be so overly mystical either, So. But I would say that the main essence of this, Joanne, is communication, understanding. And Devin's in the room, by the way. I saw Devin. Devin.
Yeah, ask Devin.
What planet, Devin? Where did you say you were from? We were just talking about it, and there she appeared. We manifested Devin.
She shows up.
Yeah, Devin. We literally just talking about you. You said you're from a certain planet, and I feel like that was a similarity to the woman I was just reading. So put it in the chat. We're curious. So that's good with you, Joanne. Understand communication is your strong point, and there's going to be ways you can do that in a more spiritual context with what you're doing. Samantha Ridenour. Question 1 is, I'm starting my journey as an unconventional spiritual content creator. I want to know if I've chosen the right kind of content to make. Thank you both for sharing your gifts, knowledge, and your time with us. We appreciate you. Oh, that's so sweet, Samantha. I really am humbled by your appreciation. I appreciate your appreciation. Let me see. Unconventional sweet. When I read that, I kept seeing you like acting and like I hate to say interpretive dance. That's always been used in jokes of mine, but I really feel like yes, you're starting a journey in a way that for me is really performance oriented. I would say this. And if you think about performance orientation, I think that's where your niche will be. They're showing even doing monologues or some interpretive expression. It will evolve. I think you're just at the tip of the iceberg when it comes to this. So I think it's going to be very, very creative, very visually stimulating, as well. They're showing you using the body too in a lot of different ways as well. So that's why I was kind of reading performance art in a sense, not just like, hey, here's a spiritual creation. It might be more artistic, more expressive, more performance based. So we're saying, yes, you just begun. Let me see any additional information too. They're saying poetry too. Taking conventional art and making the art unconventional. Like how, like imagine you're doing like a reading and it's like a poetic reading. I was thinking, why don't I just like do like my make a song for my clients and that's a prediction as a song. But if you think of that context, I think that's the right direction. So I think you are. We just kind of give you tidbits of what you'll start be connecting with, especially other creatives as well. Very visually stimulating as well as very performance based. And I think that's pretty damn cool. So in a sense, yes. What do you think, Chris?
I would also say yes. And you have the 7 of Cups, which is actually a pretty good card because, I feel like the 4 of Pentacles is saying that you should stay flexible. And I work with a ton of YouTubers and myself, and I teach a bunch of classes on YouTube. And, one thing I always tell people is to like not box yourself into one niche, one idea. I think for the most part, we should niche down, but I always say like 20% of the time we should be trying something totally crazy off the wall just to see if we come up with something new. And so, that's kind of the approach I would take, but I would just say yes to answer your question.
Yeah. A lot of performance art though, Samantha, something very visual. I just see you kind of moving and performing too, or doing something or getting people to do so. Really cool. And a lot of like vibrant colors I was seeing too with that. So absolutely. You have, and some people think they're unconventional, but they're not. They're just, really kind of boring, but your unconventional is an understatement. I think you really have a very expressive creative mind. And so you utilizing that is going to be the catapult for you forward for sure. 100%. That's definitely one of a kind. You give one of a kind. You put meaning into the one of a kind, I would say, statement. And I don't compliment people too often, so yeah. At least creatively, I would say. Ali says, been working on the legal situation. Things have changed. Do you see the recent help to move this venue? Spoke to them today. Thanks. Well, Ali, yeah, this is the prediction we were talking about last time about having the right person to speak forward for you. As we did say, there's a lot of delays with the legal issue, but at the same time, it's working in your favor this way. And so I think that you have the right team in place or people in place at the moment that will also push you in the right direction for the resolve on this. It's just delays, right? That's the only thing to expect when when it comes to the energetic current of this, but I think now I feel you're secured in your support and what you've been needing with the legal aspect or your legal counsel. So that feels good to me. And it feels solid in that regard. So I think that if you keep the consistency and just being aware of the process that you're in, that it is a process and there will be delays, that's the only thing that you will be really up against. Because I feel like at the end of the day and at the end of all of this, that it works in your favor. Because to me, this is a no-brainer legally. It feels like a no-brainer. And I also feel like that it's just a matter of time type of energy. So very simple on that. What do you think, Chris?
Yeah, it looks really good. I mean, you have the King of Wands and the Magician, and so the King of Wands is like I feel like you attracted this better situation into the situation. I feel like this could be like the person that's helping you, or the lawyer or whatever. And I mean, I think this person has all the tools necessary to make this happen.
I love that. So pretty simple, Allie. Simple, but actually really good. I'm browsing to see if Devin answered our question. Devin. What planet you from?
Angel, what planet are you from?
Angel, where planet are you from, Devin?
You didn't call her the right name. That's why.
I know, that's true. Angel, what are your Devins telling you? She's a Devin reader. We're all backwards with names. Maldek, thank you, Kat.
Oh, Maldek.
Yeah, Maldek. Right. That sounds like from the Elder Scrolls, from like Skyrim or something. I don't know if you played that game. I used to love Skyrim.
Oh yeah.
And the Elder Scrolls. Oblivion. I love Oblivion. Mm-hmm. I have Elder Scrolls in VR actually. To go in Elder Scrolls VR is pretty freaking cool. Yeah. Yeah. It's awesome.
That does sound cool.
Yeah. All right. Next is Iris. You'd be surprised how geeky I am, Chris. I'm more like you than you think.
I believe it.
Very geeky. Okay. Iris says, should I partner with this person who is desperate for my help? Ooh, I don't like the question. Desperate for my help. I don't know about like that. But let me read that, because that might be your interpretation too. Let me get past the wording, because I'm just gonna be too philosophical with the wording. I feel like if you help them, my love, it's not going to help them. I feel a stalemate energy. So even if you were to decide to partner, help them, I feel like they'll still be at a plateau, or I feel like something with their energy won't progress with the endeavor. So I feel like it'll still plateau. So you have to ask yourself, are you going to do this for just an emotional support type of thing? Or are you trying to also get something established here that could benefit you? Because if it would just be like a plateau, I feel like it'd be kind of stalemate in a sense, where it wouldn't necessarily help them, even though that has nothing to do about you, by the way. It has more to do about them. So I would say I'd reconsider your intentions and what you lead, the outcome in the sense. If you're just being a good Samaritan, okay. But if you're doing it because you feel like you're going to get rewarded on this, probably not. Chris, what do you think?
Yeah, I feel the same way. I mean, you have the Four of Cups, which is like you have the Three of Pentacles, which is good. It doesn't say that you don't have you shouldn't necessarily, but the Four of Cups is disappointment with the result. So yeah, I mean, I agree with Scott. I think that it's like you could. Would it be that big of a deal if you did? Probably not. But
right.
Should you? Probably not as well. With
right.
The Four of Cups.
That's why I got this. And that's why I just pulled the Two of Swords, Chris. Look, too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah. So, depends on your position on that, my love. I think they have a lot of congested, fragmented energy that's really prevents them, and that could be infectious to what they're doing and what their whatever their endeavor is what's really kind of affecting it. So they need a baptism. I mean that with all love and respect, because I feel like they need to be a cleansing. Kristen Carbone, we're knocking it out. We have a few more left. I think. Let me check my Venmo again. Her first question is, how can I improve the family dynamics between me, my daughter, and my mother? Oof. Oh, wow. That's a loaded question, because why do I think your mother is using your daughter? Yeah, it's interesting. I feel like your mom and your daughter, your mother and your daughter are kind of like either tag teaming or something, or I feel like they are maybe against you in a sense. I think your mom is kind of using your daughter as a pawn. It feels very screwy to me. or at least you feel isolated. I feel like you feel isolated from both of them because of how they're kind of playing against you. So for me, I feel like it's a no-win situation really with this. I think that if you remove yourself from the competitive aspect of this threesome dynamic, perhaps that would bring you closer to your daughter. Your mom feels very difficult to deal with for me. And I feel like no matter what, like you're always wrong with your mom in a sense. So I feel like if you allow yourself to just remove yourself from the competition of that, I feel like your daughter might come more on your side. And so I think that's where things will can resolve. And just keep in being self-contained in that sense. I think your mom is kind of, and this is, I might be over exaggerating, amplifying because I'm reading the energy. I just think your mom was a little bit of a shit stir. no offense. And your mom, you might also kind of cater to your daughter a little bit, which can get in the way. I think you're trying to do too much to pacify. I would say if you take a step back on this, I think that your daughter might find more of a leaning energy on you. So it just feels very congested. It feels very fragmented and overly dynamical in a very, I would say, unovert way. So the energy feels more palpable than the actual actions. But yeah, I would just say just stay neutral. Don't be competitive. When they're being competitive or vindictive, just make sure you're not engaging with that. It's very simple to remain more diplomatic. And I think that's where you'll find more resolve with that. But your mom seems to be always kind of pushing a button. What do you think on that one, Chris?
Yeah. I mean, you have 2 Leo cards here. Leo, very strong, bold energy, wants attention. So I would be careful of like attention and where your attention is going here. I would watch your words as well. With the Strength card, she has her hands in the lion's mouth, and it's almost like someone needs attention. Someone needs hands in their mouth, or it's like someone needs to watch their words in this situation. So like I would try to balance it from those 2 different perspectives. And I would also say that like sometimes not feeding into it with this type of energy is the right answer as well. Yeah, because it feels so like a lot of it seems so underneath it all too, like there's an undercurrent of it, not so overt, and that could be confusing. But I agree with that too. I mean, actually, we both kind of said the same thing, but I agree with what you added on to that. The question is, am I on the correct path with my business? Is the second question. I don't like the correct path question because you're creating the path. So it's whether or not you're actually doing well for the business, I think is the question I'm going to answer. Correct path is judgmental, and that's not for me to say. But let me see if you're kind of performing in the right direction. I think fundamentally, right, or at least the foundation of what you're doing is good. You're too distracted. Again, I'm getting distractions. So I think you have to eliminate your distractions of things that are hogging your psychological space that's making you not see how you can take things further with your business. So I think right now you might be saying, well, things aren't really expanding right now. And so I don't know why. And I'm saying because there's so many other intellectual distractions that are in an autopilot in your subconscious that's kind of limiting the bandwidth of how you're seeing what you can do with your work. So you might have to detach from people, relationships that are just hogging too much of your intellectual, viewpoints on things, so you can actually focus more of that in your business to see how you can expand it further. So fundamentally, in the foundation of your work feels good, but I don't think you're pushing it because of other distractions that are just unnecessary. What do you think, Chris? Yeah, I think you need to actually dream bigger with the High Priestess. Like, I feel like the answer is yes, like you're on the right path. But the High Priestess is about, like, sometimes I feel she comes up when someone has unlimited potential, but they're not going for their unlimited potential. So
right.
I kind of feel like this is saying expand it. Like, think that you can do more, and you probably will. You will probably surprise yourself.
But I like you said that too, because it's like the distractions is what's preventing it, because it's all there. Yeah. It's all there, so yeah, I agree with, well, of course we both agree. I don't know if we have to agree. We're just reading the same thing, but yeah, don't let people, for everybody in the room too, don't let people stifle your potentials. Again, you don't need other people's validations, other people's encouragements to do what you need. You set the tone of what you're wanting. If people align with it, great, keep them around. If they don't, see ya. Cut them out, or don't include them in your endeavors. Yep. Amanda K. Holt. Hi, Scott and Chris. Question 1. I love how structured she is at this. Question 1. I love this. That's my type of people. I seem to have made a lot of work for myself while attempting to preserve my dad's legacy for my family. Should I stick with the dream or change tack? Or change what? Stick with the dream. Let me just read that. Sometimes I don't understand scars, but let me read the energy on it. I'm assuming that you're actually, to me, I'm reading it like as if you're maintaining a family business and you're still, I think eventually you're going to have to get out of that. I think it's time to more be focusing on your own desires, your own dreams, what your own passions are. I think it was a passion for you to maintain the legacy. I think it was a thing that you need to do and honoring of your dad. So that's wonderful stuff. But I'm thinking a divergence from that to pull more into a self-expression. Right. And I feel like your dad is kind of in spirit encouraging you to do that too. Right. And so your dad's kind of saying, well, what do you want to do now? Like branch off now, do something you'd like. You know, the legacy has been solidified. And so it doesn't necessarily have to abandon the legacy, but they're saying you're feeling an urge to do something more center focus and more focus on what you're desiring. It's time to go in that direction right now. And don't feel guilty because you need to start looking out for yourself because you maintained a legacy after your dad. Remember, there's a divergence out of that. What do you feel about that, Chris, on the first part?
Yeah, pretty much the same. You have the Star and the Eight of Wands, both cards of like focus. Someone else had this tonight, I think. And the Star is about having a North Star, but it's your North Star. It is your focus. And so I think that if you want to change direction, as long as it's focused, then it will be very successful with these two cards.
Yeah. And again, like you chosen to maintain your dad's legacy. That was a choice too. So it's great. It's just now trying to pull you to diverge to something additional. Second question is, should I move from where I am based now to a place that I love much more, to a place that I love, but much more isolated? I'm 60 and single. Thank you both for your input. Hugs you both, Amanda. Thank you for that. I do sense a move actually. And so new home. So for me, Four of Wands is my new home card. So like people who use the Four of Wands in different things like engagement, marriage. To me, I'm always married to my home. So the Four of Wands means new home for me. And so I do feel like you're going to find a location next year that's more representative of what you're wanting to. I do feel movement is necessary in conjunction to what we were saying before about the work endeavor. So I definitely feel like changing locations, getting to an environment is actually in the cards for you, literally. So yeah.
Yeah, same. Ace of Pentacles, definitely could be a new opportunity. Hermit is getting out. Like he needs to come down from the mountain. He needs to go somewhere new. But also could be you isolating yourself, you know, if you're going somewhere more isolated. So
yeah, she said that. Yeah.
So I definitely think you're going to move. Definitely, yeah.
That's perfect because she did a place a bit more. She loves it, but it's a bit more isolated. So that's perfect that came up. That's more of a confirmation. Yeah, I love isolated places. Ugh. That's why I'm moving from more isolation to more isolation. I mean, born in New York, I'm like want to go far opposite the older I get than that. Mm-hmm. Okay, we have a couple more in Venmo, and then we can conclude. We're making good time.
Oh yeah.
We have Patricia Great, Lisa Bruman, we did, Sydney, and we have one more, which is from Diana. All right, Diana, I got to send you a link to do the video. So look at your Venmo, Diana, and copy and paste a link. It's not going to be clickable because Venmo doesn't do hyperlinks, but I commented on the transaction and then just copy and paste that link in to your browser and it will pull up a place to call and we'll call them and have you on. So until we're done with that, until that comes in, I think a lot of people too, I've been seeing a lot of moving going on, you know, so I always have to cross check, you know, I like Amanda's like, she's like, cool, I'm a hermit. So yeah, that's definitely that is definitely, well, you might be a hermit now. I think, you know, you need some alone time, right? Because you haven't really had much of that. So, but I've been seeing a lot of people moving too, because I feel like, you know, we've been talking about on LOL, like, you know, having a, you know, time shift, paradigm shift, whatever we want to define it to be. I just think it's more of a collective evolution. We've kind of evolved from the previous seasons, and so the results of that is that people are just like finding a better place, more of their energy, you know, kind of like what happened in 2020 with COVID. People found more of their energy in that, you know. When did you move to, how long have you been in Tennessee now?
Like 3 months, something like that.
Oh, it's only been 3 months. Wow.
Yeah, right after Unite the Light, I flew home from Unite the Light, got in a car, drove to Tennessee.
That's right. And you were before where before that?
I was in Redmond, Washington, so right outside Seattle.
Oh wow! So like completely left to right in a sense, right?
Well,
Different climate.
You know what? We were talking about this on LOL too. We were talking about the lines, the astrocartography lines.
Right.
And what I didn't realize is I moved when I first moved to Washington. COVID hit, and I left during COVID, right? And so my Chiron line runs right through Seattle. And,
Oh wow!
And Chiron is a wounded healer, right? So I
Yeah.
moved during COVID. I moved back like at the end of COVID, and then I moved away just now.
Wow.
So it's like super weird that during the COVID time, I moved away from like my healing line, right? Isn't
Right.
that weird?
Interesting. That's weird. I would love to like kind of check mine out too. My lines in a sense. To see what's crossing because I was in LA and COVID hit. I felt like I got to leave, and I also was like helping a woman manage her property for like 11 years, and she died on my birthday that year. And I'm like, well, now I don't have anything holding me back here. I'm gonna So there's a lot of like synchronicity. And I remember the first deposit I made for that property was like 20,000 2020 and it was 2020 that year, so it was like weird synchronicities here, right? So and sometimes I feel like even like my moves after that feel like they've been planned, like I feel like it's too much to be creative. Like it felt someone's overseeing that, like some guide or something. But we're just waiting on Diana Belmundes. We put a link in your Venmo because you're the last one on the list, so please, Nina, if you can find Diana BL, what's Diana Bell? Just put that name in the chat. Find her so we can get her on, so we don't linger here and fall asleep on here waiting. So, what should we do in the meantime, Chris? Do you have anything that you want to talk about?
Someone did ask. They said they want to learn more about it and about astrocartography and about it. There are a couple. I don't know anyone who really. I've seen videos on YouTube that talk a lot about it, and that do a great job talking about it. It is more confusing than regular astrology, at least to me.
Yeah. I mean, there's so many different. I mean, I was learning about astrology. There's Vedic astrology. I'm like, oh my gosh, so where do I go? So I started understanding even the complexities of that. I mean, it's totally a science, in a sense. I would love to learn about that because I'm always about location and home and all that. So I would love to learn more about that too and see like why I'm being drawn to say, now Nevada and Lake Tahoe and all that stuff. I'm definitely. Iggy's been studying that and aiming to get a certification. Wow. Interesting, Iggy.
Iggy, start a channel and start talking about it.
Yeah, Iggy, seriously, start a channel so I can come and so I can bombard your chats because I need to go in a chat and start, and pooping on someone else's chat. Okay, yes. She says, where do we put the link? Yes, Diana, you put the link, copy the link that I sent you and put it in your browser, and it will come up with an interface that you can join the video here, and you just, put your camera on and all that stuff, and it will come up, and we can get you on. So, yeah, Iggy, we need you to start your channel. Why haven't you started a channel? There she is. There she is. Okay, good, perfect time. I hate having to linger. We're like noodling around. Yeah, we're noodling right now. Hi, Deanna. I'm glad you made it and found how to get on.
Yeah, I'm sorry. It was a learning curve.
You're fine. You're fine. It's not. Yeah, it's very interesting and unique. But what's your question for us?
Well, first of all, I love you guys, and I love the new show.
Thank you.
Everything, and I'm new to you. I'm new to you, Scott, but I've been watching Chris for a long time. And my main thing is I would like to know what are my spiritual gifts. I dabble in everything, and I don't
tell us.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm like, before you say something, let me, because I always love energy when we read. Let me see what your awarenesses are. Okay, I'm just automatic writing. Bear with me a couple seconds. Interesting. Okay. This is more of a prediction too. So there's a couple things that are going to come out you're not really familiar with. It's more a prediction, just FYI. Okay. Well, you're definitely an empath. That's for sure. That's the obvious, right? You're definitely an empath. You can feel people's emotions, energies. That's clear. One thing they were saying is like you're a good storyteller. So I think that you're really good at presenting things and having people kind of figure things out in ways, maybe the way you present them. And so storytelling doesn't mean that you're telling a story and reading a book. It means that you're able to paint a picture for people in ways that's digestible for them. So I think that with your empathy and able to kind of create or at least present people information in ways they've never seen it before to open perspective, I really feel like you'd be helping people in ways that people who are unfortunate. And I really feel people that were, I don't want to say like, housing issues or homeless issues, but I just see you helping people less than and able to like boost them up or bring them up and bring up the energy. Because there's also a teacher quality to you. I feel like you have as well, but they keep saying about teaching people how to have a better life for themselves. I know it sounds cliche, but not many people can do that for people. And not many people can express things or tell a story to people in ways that could be very beneficial in that way. So the gist behind that is to me, it's the empathy, right? Being an empath and feeling emotions. But to me, you're clairsentient too. Like I think clairsentient means you can also predict with what you're feeling. I think your clairsentience can have you predict based on what you're feeling about overall, objectivity of things. Because empaths mean you're just reading people. I think we're being clairsentient means that you understand even things around you that are not related to people, how things can like shape and form and how to read the energy in that as well. So I think right now they're showing you diving into books. So I would say be very much educating yourself more about psychology and how to connect psychology with spirituality, because I feel like you're going to be led into a position where you're going to have to help people on the mind, but also connecting with the soul to lift people up in that sense. And maybe people who are not so fortunate of having accessibility to encouragement, that you could be a source of that. So it feels very inspiring. It feels very, I don't want to say coach energy, but we'll use that for lack of better terminology at this time. But also someone that's really making a great change individually for people too. So if I had to like put that in a more of like a mundane expression, like you should be a therapist, a social worker, you know what I'm saying? But that's kind of the boring aspect without spirituality. But that is your expertise. You have enough empathy and a way to nurture people that really can help open people's eyes to where they can see the bigger picture, the way you present the story. So that to me is a huge gift in a sense. Chris?
Yeah,
wait, before you move on, I would see what she responds to that. Sorry, you're gonna say something.
Well, that's exactly how I would describe myself. I always kind of look for something big, but that's like, it's a subtle energy and the way I kind of move through the world. And I am a teacher, so.
Well, there you go. There's a teacher. But because I also saw you like speaking too. Like, so you might even use that to speak somehow too, and I'll let Chris take over again. So,
yeah, I mean, I see a lot of that. You have an amazing reading. I feel like there's some sort of victory coming in for you after a new, like totally unrelated, by the way. I just feel like there's a victory coming in for you or a big win. You have the Wheel of Fortune, Six of Wands, Fool, and the Ace of Swords, which is amazing.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, definitely some sort of like, breakthrough, win, something. But you have the Wheel of Fortune. I think this popped into my head as something you need to pay attention to, because I feel like you're good at it, but you don't know, is that the Wheel of Fortune is about being really good at paying attention to cycles, and which can be extremely valuable. Like being able to notice when a cycle is coming up or something is about to repeat. Being able to take advantage of cycles is something that you could probably be good at. Maybe you can spot this for other people as well. So I would definitely pay attention to that. Six of Wands would be lifting people up, like Scott said, helping people in some way, helping them get attention. But again, this would be like a lot of attention for you. Again, I would say some sort of new beginning because of the Fool. And the Ace of Swords, teaching and anything mental, any mental work with the Ace of Swords, communication, stuff like that. So,
oh my God, this is so weird.
I see a big win for you is what I feel. And definitely a clairsentient, by the way. Scott said that, and I was like, oh my God, yes, that's what I was thinking with the Ace of Swords.
Yeah, and the thing is too, like especially with that Wheel of Fortune card too that came up, like it's also helping people start their new cycle. So it's new cycle for you, but like helping people start their new cycle, their new journey, their new endeavor. So I do feel like, because when I saw teacher, like I was seeing also speaking in or school auditorium. So yeah, I think that's another part that you might see, that maybe you're speaking something and helping kids in that way too. And so, yeah, remember the empathy, remember the nurturing component. Remember also you'll understand when I said storytelling, you'll understand that in the future. I got why he said that. And that's a great realization. So, long-term future, let me see outside of this, I think you're really going to expand more into. I was seeing books before, and I'm like, I just thought that's because of the education. And when I said before, they show you diving in books. I think long-term future coming around there, you might actually end up writing a book. Okay, so I think that's going to be something that also is going to be kind of an antithesis of what you've been doing too.
Yeah, and I would also say, I mean, six of wands, like a lot of attention, so there's got to be something that's coming up for you that's going to get you attention, which could be a book or something in the future. So I would concur.
Good. Anything else you want to ask Chris and I before we wrap it up that might be a question you're curious about?
What happened to my cat?
Your cat?
Yeah, he's been
What?
walked off.
Oh no.
Back.
Let me see. You should ask one of your neighbors. One of your neighbors saw your cat. Okay. And one of your neighbors, I feel like he was scooped up actually. So he doesn't feel dead to me. It feels like someone saw him and took him. So he feels living to me, but he feels like someone brought him in. And I feel like one of your neighbors may have seen the cat or something that day, or someone in the neighborhood. Feels someone close to you has seen the cat. It's not like your cat just walk off and not come back. But whether or not the person they temporarily hold on to the cat, I don't know. But I thought someone brought the cat in. So, and that could be temporarily. I kind of feel like somehow it might pop up again, or someone might tell you. I feel like there might be something slightly that could remind you or show you, or direct you to where the cat may be. But yeah, I feel like someone saw a cat, brought it in. But it also feels temporary to me. I don't know why. So, what do you feel on that, Chris? Do you get anything on that?
Yeah. Eight of Swords, which would be trapped, so like, and Eight of Swords is temporary, by the way, so that would make sense. But so, yeah, I don't really pick up on animals really well, but well, I do, but just lizards, that's it. but the Eight of Swords, I would say, is kind of like, self-imposed prison, but it could definitely be, prison popped into my head. Like, have you called shelters and stuff like that? I'm wondering.
True.
So that was like the thing that popped into my head when I picked up this card, was like shelters, something like
Good
that.
Good point. Maybe check your shelters.
Well, again, all right.
Yeah, if it's not a person, maybe just double check and see if it's shelter, just in case. Yeah, because I didn't think about that, because I guess he saw someone taking it up, so it could be someone and then drop into shelter. That's probably why I felt temporary energy. So, definitely keep us posted on that too.
Thank
All
you.
right.
Thank you.
Well, it was a pleasure to meet you.
It was a pleasure to talk to you guys too.
Have a wonderful rest of your night, my love.
Thank you.
Good night.
Good night. All right, so that was I think, let me just double check, make sure it's the last one. Someone's trying to get a question in, but we said if they get in now, fine. If not, we're closing, because we have a little treat. I have a little treat for you guys too. A little bit of a 5-minute sound bath, a meditation. Let me just double check and make sure I'm not missing anything, because that would suck. We did the last prize with Amanda. Great, we got that. And then the last Venmo was her. So yeah, fantastic.
Perfect.
Yeah. Yes, perfect. We did it, Christopher. We did it. I almost called you Christopher. Are you going to stick around for the sound bath?
I am going to stick around, yes.
Okay, cool. So, guys, we have a wonderful treat for you. His name is Lafayette's Nina's wonderful partner. It's like a 5-minute little meditative sound bath. You guys have been asking for it back again. Here it is. And so, take a little bit unwinding, especially for the Libra season. So, we'll see you back right after the meditation. Wake up, wake up.
I'm up.
You have this horrible voice now to wake you all up. That was great. Thank you, Lafayette. That was wonderful. We'll hear more from him too. So again, and thank you, Nina, as well. Chris, for those of my followers that maybe do not know you, tell them where my followers can find you.
Yep, Minopon Tarot on YouTube and everywhere else, and Chris Reck on everywhere else as well. So it's all the same.
Pretty simple. Well, I appreciate you having on, my friend, and we'll be doing this again next Thursday, or next Thursday, the last Thursday of October, unless Chris decides to bail. But for now, we're doing it. So thank you. Have a good night. Stay backstage so I can talk to you when we get back here, and I'll do my closing. So thanks for coming on, Chris. Everyone appreciates you too.
Thank you, everybody.
All right, guys. Wonderful show tonight. I appreciate every single one of you guys coming on tonight. And again, you can find me at scottcruzpm.com if you want a personal one-on-one session, of course, to more specific, more clear, as well as offer mediumship. If you want to connect with someone who's crossed over, you can book a session for mediumship as well as intuition builder, which is to help you, of course, develop your own abilities as well. So I appreciate every single one of you guys for coming on tonight. Understand too, we'll be on LOL every Thursday morning. So we've changed it. To those who don't know, we've changed our time. So we'll be back again next Thursday morning with that, and again next week for my live show. So as you guys know, you're all the gods and goddesses of your own myth. What do you guys want to create? And have a wonderful, beautiful rest of your night. Much love, guys.
Scott Cruz is popularly known for his life-changing one-on-one readings to also guide in your soul ascension journey. With life readings, get insight into your relationships, career, health, trauma healings, past life regressions, and more. Want to connect with a loved one who's transitioned? Scott's mediumship session can be the gateway to you and your loved ones in spirit, bridging the gap between the physical and the spiritual realm. If you want to enhance your own psychic ability, Scott's Intuition Builder session can help expand your psychic and mediumship abilities. So sign on to scottcruzpm.com to book your own personal session today.